All right, so there are your control servos, okay? And you have for all three axes, forward, aft, and lateral. All right. If you notice up front, if you look forward, you'll see that it has a little plastic covering over the shaft area there. That's just to pick up any hydraulic leaks that might develop. Usually, usually if the temperatures drastically change, we get a cold front, something like that, that'll happen. So then you have the pilot valve there, and we know how that works, right? Mechanical input moves the pilot valve, which redirects hydraulic fluid. That's the premise of the controls, okay? And then I like to make sure that they're loose. If you see these two up here, right? See those?
Yeah.
Grab them and spin them.
Okay.
So just
So it's one.
Yeah.
And where's the other?
Top one, the two top ones there, those two?
Oh, on the...
No, right here. You have one in the bottom and one in the top. See this? There's two of them right up there. Right there. This one here
Yeah, I got that one.
and the top one. That one and the bottom one right there.
Oh, okay, on the same.
Is it?
Yeah, I got it.
It's all right.
Yep, I'll spin.
And just looking at it, just to make, why do we do that? If there's any kind of problems, any kind of overstress, stuff like that, it might not spin. We're doing the same on all three.
Right. And we check freedom on the...
Freedom of play and all.
Okay.
And we're looking for general appearance conditions, no leaks, everything's working fine, okay? So here's the pilot valve there, you see it there? That's what turns mechanical movement into hydraulic actuation.
Okay.
That's all we're moving. And the rest is the hydraulic pressure. Controls are coming from underneath what we call the broom closet.
Okay.
Right there. Control is the center in the JetRanger, which is that center there. They come all out up there. General appearance and condition, okay? This is your distribution block for the hydraulic, comes out of the pump. And then over here, you'll see you have a bypass indicator right up here, a little red button. Differential pressure indicator, you see it?
The red...
So this is the filter, right? This is the filter for your hydraulic here, right here.
Right.
And the top, feel it with your finger.
Okay.
Okay. If you have if it bypasses, it'll pop up.
Oh,
okay?
right. Like a
it's
turkey.
a differential pressure indicator, right? Yeah. And then what you'll do is like a turkey baster thing, yeah. And then what you'll do is your mechanics will come out, or they'll go through the procedure, and it might say, "Hey, reset once, run it, blah blah blah." Whatever it is, it's going to be in the maintenance manual. Okay.
All right.
And then again, there is your hydraulic reservoir sight glass. You see it?
I see it.
That's your reservoir there. And then right there is a gauge as well right here.
Okay.
Okay. And we'll talk about that later on in a minute. When we get to that side, it'll be easier. Okay. So we have that. And then there's the pump is underneath, hydraulic pump. It's run by the gear main module.
Okay.
And that's all we're looking in there, general condition appearance. If you look forward up here at the light where I'm indicating there, see that?
Can't quite see it. Yeah.
See that? That's your rotor brake.
Oh, okay.
Okay? And that's your rotor brake down there, okay? So again, general condition appearance, no leaks, everything's tight, nothing's loose, all right? So this is what's called a particle separator. Okay? If we didn't have this in the plenum, here you'll be able to see, when we come across, you'll be able to see the intake to the compressor, okay? But what this does is they have little vortex generators, little swirl vanes. And as the air goes in, it rotates, and centrifugal force puts all the particles out, forces them out.
Okay.
Okay, and then it exhausts them through there.
Okay.
So then, this one is active. Okay, this one's always on. Some of them can be passive, which means that if you don't need it, you don't have them on. If you need them, you put them on, okay? Let's come over here. Oh, take a look in here. See if you can see the
I can't see anything in there.
Okay, go in there and look. You'll be able to. And you see the intake of the engine. Look where the engine is here.
I see the firewall there. But...
Okay, so look, so you can find your relative where you're going to be looking
Okay.
at. Now look in there. You see it?
Yeah, I'm not as high as you are.
Okay, over here, then try that. Come forward a little bit more. Hold on, let me get you a little bit more here. Go ahead.
Okay. Light. Okay.
Okay?
Yeah, I see.
All right. So if we didn't have that particle separator, we can get all kinds of stuff inside.
Debris, yeah.
And we can damage the compressor. So we'll come over here. You can stay there if you like, and then we'll open this here. Now we're looking, here's your main module, or main transmission. There's your oil sight plats.
Yep.
See it?
I see it.
Okay. It's just a cooling shroud. You have the transmission, you have your shaft that comes from the engine forward to drive the main rotor. All the hefty flex coupling.
I was going to say, it's got a bunch of them, doesn't it?
Right. And that's an upgraded shaft.
Okay.
Originally, when they first started, they didn't come that way, but they've since started to upgrade them, and I think that's now the standard.
Okay.
Then your suspension,
Okay.
attachment points, and it's just kind of looking for make sure there's no play. Everything moves a little bit, but there's no play.
Oh, this part?
Yeah.
Okay.
Remember the knock plate we were talking about over lunch yesterday? Or the Monday? See that bottom? It's on a valley.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, that's the spike plate.
Oh, okay.
Because you have this isolation mount up here that kind of makes that transmission rigid. If you hit it, if you bounce it hard, if something, it will knock it. If that starts to wear or knock it, and that gives you an indication something's going wrong.
And what would cause that?
If you're doing auto rotations to the ground,
Okay.
hard landing, run-on landing, something bad that you kind of hit hard and the whole transmission moved, or these things are going bad and they're not working right, and it's losing its rigidity, then you can have that.
Okay.
Right, that's just bleed valve and stuff coming through the particle separator for movement. And then it exhausts through here.
Okay.
All right, now we go to the engine. You need to see it. You get over here and I'll get over here.
Okay.
All right, so starting from the front, working our way back, you got the compressor section. Okay, that's your bleed valve. Rotor brake, that's where we're having a leak problem right now. Then your engine mount, forward mount, right down here.
Oh, hang on, rotor
Right.
brake.
Right here. There's your rotor brake caliper right there.
Oh, I see it, yeah.
And then there's your rotor brake. Unlike the one that Mike has, this one's hooked up to the shaft, so there's no movement. Notice there's another flex coupling down there.
Yes.
Okay? So that's where it's attached.
Okay, you said you're having a leak here.
Oh, we're having a leak in one of the hoses, hydraulic. You can see it there on the floor?
The rotor brake is
Yeah.
not hydraulic, is it?
It's hydraulic.
Oh, it is?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. See it right there?
Okay.
Okay. We talked about bleed valve yesterday in Mike's aircraft. Remember what it's for, or what some of the reasons we have it? During start, you notice it's up, it's out, it's
Yeah.
open, however you want to call it. Okay, that relieves the pressure on the compressor because it's a very efficient compressor, and allows the starter to spin it. Once we start to pull power, once we're at 100% RPM, and we start to pull power, we don't want bleed air coming out. We want every available power to go to the engine. These lines pick up bleeds at different positions. I'm not going to go into what position is what, because you're not going to be flying a JetRanger. You're going to be flying a long range, and they pick up at different places. But it picks up air from the engine at several places, brings it back here, and it operates this little bleed valve up and down.
Okay.
I can't, because it's got pressure on it. You'll see it moves up and down.
Okay.
So the more I ask it to work, the pressure builds up wherever it's picked up, and it starts to close that bleed valve to close the compressor.
Oh, okay.
So that we can become 100% efficient.
So if you're at low torque, it's going to be
It's
open?
going to be open. During starts and low torques, it'll be open. It's used also for compressor stall preventing a compressor stall.
And that's fully autonomous. You don't do anything with that? Okay.
Okay. On the Eurocopter products, you'll see that you can turn on bleed valve. It'll show you an indicator if it's on or off. You know, this is just behind the scenes, okay? All right, so you have your starter generator, fuel controller, okay? You have a shroud for air, picks it up through here.
Okay.
Watch out, watch yourself a minute.
Okay.
See here, gets air.
Okay. Right, so that's cooling as you're
Cooling as for your
flying.
starter generator. So remember, we use the starter function, and after we complete our start sequence, the reason we wait before we make it work as a generator is because it's still hot, and so we want to let it cool down a bit and then convert it into generator power. Okay? Again, the way this works, this particular engine, you'll have the axial stages, and then you have one radial stage up here. This is called a diffuser. This is not physically attached to the turbine. It is gas attached.
Okay.
Okay, and if you can see, I hate when I do that. You can see here. Where is it? Let me see. It's attached physically there through the axial, but that's the different. The power turbine is air coupled. In other words, two stages of the power turbine run that, and then the other stage is used for pickup for power. Okay, and the C30 might run it different. You're going to have oil stuff here, pickups for chip detectors and things of that nature. Diffuser, so go ahead.
Chip detector on top.
But they're not. Let me rename that. They're chip detectors, but you have to undo it, and they pick up chips at different stages of the oil flow. Okay, they're just where you pick up oil, different bearings. You can, depending on where the chip is made in there, you know which bearing it's coming from.
Okay.
This is a chip detector down here in your traditional form. We have two of them on this engine. You'll see the next one over. Okay.
What about the, I know this doesn't have it, but the remove chip?
The what?
Like the 222 has a remove chip?
Oh, you mean a fuzz burn?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, what it does is it's got a current that will burn it if it's a certain extent, to a certain extent. But if it's a bona fide chip, it won't burn it.
Okay.
What it does is if it builds up fuzz, okay, then it burns the fuzz.
Okay.
And that way you prevent yourself from having a lot of false positives,
Oh, okay.
a lot of lights. But
So that's almost like a reset.
yeah, but if it's a true chip, you won't be able to burn it.
Okay.
You won't be able to burn it.
If you have that, is that something that you'd report to maintenance, or is that something?
Yeah, that's
just,
something that depending on your checklist, it says land as soon as possible sometimes, depending on the manufacturers, depending on the conditions and other sites and other contributing factors.
So even if you made it go away by
Well, how do you make it go away?
with the remove chip?
With a fuzz burn, you'll never see it. If it's a fuzz burn, you'll never see it.
Oh.
That'll never get to you. That's to prevent false positives.
Oh, that happens automatically?
Behind the scenes.
Okay. I thought it was looked like a button.
No,
Okay.
I've never seen that. No, at all that happen. Okay. So then your airflow comes in here, gets diffused, speed up, compress, comes through the back. Diffuser, scroll up tubes, back to the combustion chamber back here. Yeah, you can get up here because you need to see it more than I do. Okay. And then you have your fuel and you have your igniter. You see in the back, the one that's shielded like this is your fuel line.
Okay.
The other one that has an electrical shielding style, that's your igniter.
Okay.
Okay. So if the fuel air mixture comes back here, it gets ignited, it gets burnt, and then it comes forward. And there's your power turbine pickups here. You have 4 stages.
Okay.
Okay. Some of your power turbine is used to run your compressor. The other is used to run your accessory gearbox.
Okay.
Okay. And again, depending on the manufacturers, I hate to be so generic.
Yeah.
But depending on the manufacturer, they're going to do it different ways. Okay.
And where's the output?
Right on the
Shaft.
top. Oh, the output shaft for the main.
For the gearbox.
That was this right here. That's the one we just looked at with the.
Oh, of course.
Has the rotor
Of
brake.
course. Right.
And then this one goes to your tail rotor goes aft.
Okay.
From the accessory gearbox. In the accessory gearbox, you'll find igniters, you'll find oil pumps, you'll find fuel pumps, okay? You'll find tack generators, okay? So that's what the accessory gearbox, you have your starter generator, your fuel controllers, that's where everything is run. And inside the accessory gearbox, every accessory has a different RPM. So you have reductions, you have different splines that come in different places, okay? Again, depending on the manufacturer, they're going to do things differently.
Okay. And you got a bunch of wires going
To the starter generator.
Starter generator. Is that just for amperage that you have
That's
so many?
for all kinds of stuff that I couldn't tell you.
Okay.
It doesn't, I can't fix it.
Because they all look the same. That's
I
what.
can't. Yeah, you're gonna come out to your electrical distribution block and then go from there.
Okay.
Yeah, that's where they're getting the batteries coming in to make it run like a starter, and then there are lines that comes out probably to go out to make it work like a generator. Okay. And how it works, I can tell you in a Blackhawk. I couldn't tell you on this one, but again, it doesn't matter because it works great, lasts long. All right.
Okay.
Oil and fuel lines, you'll see that they're always going to have protection against fire or heat.
Okay.
All right. So that's what you have.
Oh yeah, I was going to ask about the insulation.
Right. It's
Yeah.
against heat, and sometimes it's for fire protection as well.
Is there a fire?
No, you'll have right here is your your harness for your fire detection.
Okay.
Okay, right up here, temperature, and that's it. Just temperature. Okay.
Okay.
All right. We'll go over to the other side. Okay, so, right, since you're there, open that. We can leave it open. We can leave this open. Open that top, that one. That's where our oil for the engine is.
Okay. Yep.
Okay. You can close that. Come over here. And that thermocouple that we saw here, that's for your TOT. Okay, all that harness is for your TOT. I want to make sure you're clear on that. That's not a fire indicating system. That's your TOT thermocouples.
Well, you're looking at this thing that looks like a dryer vent?
No, the one, those little lines here. Come up here. This line here. These here. Okay.
Oh, you're right.
Okay.
Right. Okay.
So
I'm having a hard time seeing because my bifocals are down here. So
you're like me. I gotta do that. Now I got trifocal.
oh no.
Structural plate, I don't recall if in the Long Ranger it's going to be the same, but this is a structural member. You need to have this plate on even to run it.
Okay.
Okay. And then again, just general conditions, the drive shaft fairing, gurney strip, just like we had them in there. Okay.
You got it on the leading edge though.
Yeah. Here you have, it's an old, I don't know where it came from. Everybody does it. I don't know exactly, but they want you to make sure you can turn this. Some aircraft, it turns easier than others. It's supposed to indicate some kind of a stress. Okay. I've never been able to find any literature on it.
Okay.
Vertical fin. We know it has what do I want to call it? An angle to it, so they can
a reflex.
Yes, so you can relieve that. And here you'll see the tail rotor gearbox.
Yep.
All right, the little sight glass. The other JetRanger I fly has an inspection door up there, an access door, so you can see it better.
Okay.
All right. And tail rotor is a tail rotor is a tail rotor. All right. Nothing really magical about this. It's, compared to the fence strong that we just flew yesterday.
Huh.
Very simple.
So,
Oh yeah.
sort of.
That's it. That's how it works. Nothing magical about the tail rotor. Right? And then over here, you have an engine oil filter in line there, airframe, and with a red button for an indicator. Okay.
Okay.
The oil reservoir up here, and a scroll cage here, blower,
Okay.
for the to cool it.
Okay.
Okay. The Long Ranger, I believe, like I said, I've never flown. I think I got like 3 hours in the Long Ranger, never flown one. But I'm assuming it's going to be pretty similar, just bigger. Okay? I know the main transmission area is going to be a lot different for you.
Okay.
Okay? If you see here on the shaft, you look at the aft portion of the shaft where it attaches to the flex coupling.
Yeah.
It has a plunger or a pin in the center of it. You see it with a little button, or a little knob, or however you want to call it. Let me see it a minute. All right, so you see this right here. Can you see from there?
Yes.
You see that right there? Right there? How it spins? See it?
On something on the far side is all I'm seeing.
And then up there, you'll see it has a little, try it, look at it.
Okay.
You see it?
There's like a pin that's kind of
That pin, you want to make sure it's free. If you spin it,
spin it. Okay.
Okay.
Which it is. Okay.
Okay.
I see what you mean.
Okay. That's so that you know that you're not over torquing things in a way. Okay.
Okay.
It'll give you an indication of it.
Okay.
All right. Then you come over here. And there's your airframe fuel filter. That's usually a supplement, an aftermarket STC.
Okay.
And most people do it.
Okay.
Because you want to catch every bit of bad fuel you can before it goes into your fuel controller and costs you money.
So it didn't originally come with any filter at all?
No, not in the beginning stages, no. Well, no, I did, but it was in the fuel controller. It was in the air. But now they make it here, an airframe fuel filter.
Yeah.
All right. And then you have your governor. This is your linear actuator. So when we go to 100%, we're going to set this at a predetermined. Then as I pull collective, this is going to be my anticipator in the 44. If you think about it, it's going to...
like a correlator.
Yes. Okay.
Yeah.
It just moves back and forth, and then you can fine tune your RPM of the turbine with this linear actuator. But then it also moves completely as you raise and lower collective.
Okay.
Okay? I can't do it because the blades are all tied and everything. I don't want to do it. But it pivots here, and it moves everything. And then with the inker-dinker switch, as it's affectionately called, okay, you can increase and decrease to fine tune it. I'll show you in the collective later. Right? Then you have your igniter box here. You have, this is another, I'm trying to remember the aftermarket. Anyway, so you have a whole bunch of different, again, every engine's going to be different. All right? Fuel pump here, engine driven fuel pump here. All right. And that's really it. There's your output shaft coming from the accessory gearbox going aft.
Okay.
All right.
And that's the engine driven. Where's the there's an electric one, right?
Yeah, they're underneath there, and they're on the forward and aft in the oil tanks. I mean, fuel tanks.
Oh, that's right,
I'll
because it goes up here. I'm thinking of the 47 where you got the tank up top.
Right.
Okay.
And that's basically it. Now you're gonna come over here, and from here you can go finish here and then go up there. But that's just an underslung system. I'm gonna let you wait. I don't want to get up there because we have the under blades and stuff.
Yeah.
It's just like any other underslung system. You'll see it in the long ranges. Same thing here. Main module, transmission, oil filter here to make sure we clean it. This is the tube for the actuator. Okay. And then the other side of the transmission. Nothing crazy here. Same thing here. You have your particle separator. You have that. And the other side of the forward deck. Nothing crazy, nothing. Okay?
All right.
Yeah. The one for the long range is going to be completely different than this.
Okay.
Okay, that I can tell you. All right. Down here, if you see, you have pump and pump up there and here.
Okay.
Okay, you have a forward and aft, or a 1 and 2, however, depending on it is. And then you can drain the fuel tank through here, right through there.
Okay.
And I'll show you how to do that on this side. Okay? And then you will finish your check, your pre-flight up here. Static ports that are clean, and then come back around. Now let's look at the draining. So in order for you to drain your fuel, the first thing you want to do is you want to drain it when it's still, right?
Right.
You want to make sure you get all the sediment if it's been parked. You want to make sure that your tow fuel pumps are off. Okay, because once you turn the master on, if they're on, they're going to agitate the fuel.
Okay.
Okay? So you want to make sure those are off. You want to make sure the fuel shutoff valve is off. It has an electrical safety where if that is on, you can energize this button, which is your drain button.
Oh, okay.
Okay? Again, I don't know the Long Ranger, but I'm almost positive it's the same. So you turn that off, turn the master on, and then you can drain the tanks.
Okay.
Okay?
You said tanks.
The tank.
The tank. Okay.
The tank. Okay? So this is another aftermarket that I think almost every helicopter has them.
Yeah, range extender.
Okay, the range extender. Okay, so you're familiar with that. There's a supplement for that as well. Okay. In here we have the fuel shutoff valve and a couple of things that are associated with the fuel system. And you can hear it if I do this. You'll hear it right there.
Oh yeah.
Okay. They're all associated with the fuel. Then, so if I wanted to drain it right now, I turn that off, make sure the pumps are off, turn the battery on, put a bucket underneath, done.
Okay.
But if I want to drain the airframe fuel filter, the inline fuel filter up here, okay, I need to pressurize the system.
Okay.
Okay, if they ask you that in your oral or in your pre-flight, hey, I want to drain this, you want to make sure it's pressurized. In other words, you're going to make sure your pumps are on
Okay. While you're draining it?
while you're draining it.
Okay. Is it from the same drain point? No.
No, this is going to go on the deck, and it's going to come out through another side, and I'll show you in a minute.
Okay.
You see the deck here has this hole,
Okay.
and it's going to go through there.
Oh, it actually goes onto the deck.
Yeah,
Okay.
it squirts all over.
Okay.
But you need to have it pressurized. If not, it gets air in the system.
All right. And apart from changing the filter, when would you do that?
If it's set outside, I don't know your procedures wherever you go. Usually, it could be a maintenance function, a mechanic in the daily in the morning.
Oh, really? Okay.
A lot of people, I rarely do it, because I know that my fuel here is pretty good.
Okay.
All right, but that's what it is. And it also has a light associated with it, a pressure test that you can check.
Okay.
And I'll show you the light in there. Okay. But the biggest thing is this needs to be pressurized.
Okay.
If not, you create air.
How are you checking for water in the fuel?
Well, when you drain the whole thing, you're really not checking for water. You're really checking for dirt and stuff. And like I said, in the States, it's very, very, very difficult for you to get bad fuel.
Okay.
I would say so.
But when you said it's sitting outside, that kind of got me thinking.
That's about the only time. You haven't flown it for a long time, and then there. But the fuel pump, it's pretty sturdy. It's not as sensitive, so it's a high pressure, so it's not going to really matter. But this is to protect the fuel controller because that's the one you don't want to mess up. Okay.
Okay.
All right. Let's go inside a minute in the aircraft. Sit in the aircraft.